What's something you hated as a kid but love now? Talking. I remember watching my parents and their friends bullshitting and catching up and feeling bad for them while I played with other kids. I didn't understand why they would want to just sit around and talk when they could be running around outside with us making up adventures or playing a game. But only kind of. By that I mean I wouldn't do it at all as a kid or teenager. Now I'm 27 and I'll enjoy a good chat with my friends and family, but only for like 15 to 20 minutes. Meanwhile my friends and family can chat for like hours. Alcohol. My father was a big believer in the medicinal use of alcohol. Some wine for an upset stomach and whiskey, or brandy for a cold. Being made to drink his concoctions made me hate the taste of alcohol, and for that reason I didn't drink until after I turned 21. Even then it took me a while to get to the point where I liked it. I still hate beer. That hasn't changed. I like wine and hot toddies now, though was allowed sips of beer and champagne. Grandparents gave hot toddies for bad cold flu. I hated, and I mean absolutely hated, seeing family all the time or getting affection from mom and dad. Now that I'm older I'm starting to realize I'll miss them more than ever when they're gone. So I always take a kiss or give a huge to my mom. Very true. I used to get so bored when I was a little kid and my grandparents or uncles would tell stories about their childhood. Now I would give almost anything to ask them about it more. Adults gatherings. Now, I get a bit annoyed if I know there will be kids around. Not that I hate them, but they are not particularly my cup of tea, and usually means that the party will be not so exciting. I'm not a fan of people bringing their kids to adult gatherings. Even if the kid's perfectly behaved, everyone has to censor themselves way too much, and it ends up being fun for nobody. Home cooked meals. I used to want every meal from McDonald's or Papa John's, but now I cook every single meal at home, and love doing it, just as much as eating it. Not exactly the same but close. I was gonna say leftovers. As a kid it was always disappointing. Now I love when I make a giant lasagna or something that can nearly last me the whole week. Honestly, clothes is the best from Christmas. I was the youngest child of 4 boys, so a lot of my clothes my oldest brother had worn 7 years ago. There is actually a funny picture where I was wearing the same shirt as my brother in a picture with the same people a few years back. One Christmas I just got a ton of clothes. It was honestly heaven. Oh yeah, and pickles. I don't know why. Condiments. Until I was in my early teens, I ate plain burgers, hot dogs, and dry sandwiches because I didn't like the idea of some slimy sauce touching my food. Now, I can't even imagine having any of those things plain and dry. I still hate mayonnaise though. Mustard. I wouldn't touch it until early teens. Now it's replaced ketchup as the condiment of choice with red white meats. What other kind of meat is there beside red and white? I love mustard myself, especially with barbecue. It has no calories and it's very powerful. Naps, early nights, documentaries etc. And I was an insanely fussy eater as a kid. Now I love food I hated. I'll have garlic mushrooms on toast, tuna wrapped in lettuce, all kids of fish etc. I'd have puked at the suggestion as a kid. Aside from sleep, which I enjoy, but don't actually do enough, having an endless stomach. Before I hated finishing food once I was stuffed. Now I'm like order 366 here. Order 379, give it to me baby. Homemade bread. I think it was because we were poor and that's why mum made the bread. I just wished I could go to school with a regular white bread sandwich like the other kids. Now I would sell my soul for homemade bread. Simple conversations. I was very introverted as a kid, and so talking with anyone new was very tough for me. As I grew older though I became more comfortable and confident with myself. The show Cheers. When I was a child the theme song signaled it was my bedtime. It took me years into my adulthood to stop the negative associations with the song and just enjoy the show. The fat part of meat, I used to really hate it and freak out as a kid if my mom left any animal fat on my meat during Sunday roast dinners. Now it's the best part of that meal. Going on Reddit, I thought it was a paranormal site. That sounds great. Off to look for paranormal and stop stumbling into these political things. Food in general. I used to be a picky eater and hated trying new things. Now I just everything and love to pick stuff with unknown ingredients. Sushi. Had a friend who would bring it all the time for lunch and I thought it was gross. Tried it again when I was 16 and liked it. Now I love it. Sleeping. Sleeping back then stopped me from doing things I liked. Sleeping now is awesome because it stops me from doing things I don't like. My mom wanted to get a tattoo and I remember crying and begging her not to do it 15 years later, and 14 tattoos for me speaks for itself. Chocolate and mint. Thought it was a waste of chocolate. Then realized it was refreshing and let me eat more chocolate cause it wasn't so thick. Putting much head underwater or having it in my face. Swimming I hated. Putting my face underwater and washing my face. Reading. It's my favorite pastime now. Too bad I don't have a lot of money or I'd order my list of 67 books I want. Pumpkin. My mother boils it. Roast pumpkin is amazing, but outside of a soup or stew, boiled pumpkin is a devil. Pretzels. Not the actual baked pretzels, but the kind that cheap Midwestern mums give out on Halloween. Girls. I used to think they were weird, always giggling and laughing. Some were even super mean to me. Church around Christmas. Don't practice the religion at all. I just enjoy the experience of it. Writing. Hating doing it as a kid, because schools only told me what to write about and how to write it. Brussels sprouts. Hated them for obvious reasons, but now I'm really looking forward to autumn. Peanut butter sandwiches. Big fan. Snazzy snack. 10/10. Oysters. That texture. Having oysters kill Patrick is 10/10. Jazz music. I love jazz now. As late as high school I couldn't stand it. Coconut candies. Especially Almond Joy. I freaking love those now. Mushrooms. I couldn't stand them as a kid. Now I love eating them. Sleep. Pickles. Onions. Mustard. Thrash metal. I always hated steak as a kid, but now it's my favorite food. Vegetables. I now understand their place in a balanced diet. Blue cheese. You salty, stinky bit of gold. People. Oh wait, yeah, still hate M. Onions, bell peppers, and mathematics. Mashed potato, custard still hate onions. Hated Vegas. Now give me all of the Vegas. Spicy and hot foods. Love chili now. Going to school. Much more fun with a gun. Sleep. I oddly want to sleep forever. Sushi and fish and other kinds of food. Chinese food is served in the USA. Thinking about how I'll eventually die. Going to sleep at a reasonable time. The show Everybody Loves Raymond. Keeping silent about everything. Going on a nice long bike ride.